Hey, my name is Brian. That is Shane. This is the popcast, and today we are talking about Avengers Infinity War. This is not just spoiler talk, my friends. There's some theories in here and a quick review. You are going to love this video. We have some really good ideas on what they're going to be doing in season 4, and we have some really good criticisms of Infinity War. I'm sorry, the 4th movie. I apologize. We have great criticisms of Infinity War itself, and just a whole lot of fun stuff to talk about. Shane?
Yes. And listen, if you don't love our video today, just pretend, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, give us a submission, give us a comment, and pretend you liked it. So thank you.
Well, I mean, if you disagree with us about anything we talk about, please put it in the comic books. What is wrong with me today? Put it in the comments, and we'll talk to you about it. We'll engage with you in the comment section.
Oh, yeah.
My brain is not 100%. I took NyQuil last night because I was not feeling well over the weekend, and I wanted to start my week strong, and I wasn't feeling great the last couple of days, so I took NyQuil, and then I was woken up at like 8 in the morning by my family getting ready to go to Disneyland.
Oh,
and
today?
Like, yeah. And I'm like trying to do little girl hair where they're screaming and crying and moving around. And I'm like high on NyQuil. That's fine. Just stop moving.
You know, our fans are going to start to think that you're sick all the time, man.
No, I don't know what to tell you, man. This weekend I was just feeling under the weather, so I took NyQuil.
Breaking it down.
Yeah. You know, when you're a big guy that's constantly dieting and constantly trying to, like, fix his health, I guess you're not 100% all the time. So.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Oh, don't forget 3,200 sub milestone giveaway. We're giving away a gaming console of your choice. Obviously, nothing, anything we can buy. It can't be something that we can't purchase. Like if you're looking for a Commodore 64, probably ain't gonna happen.
Right, yeah. If you want some sort of Russian Corsair NES special edition, yeah, no.
Right.
But Brian might be able to pull out something out of his closet, some old junker.
I do have a lot of vintage consoles. Although if you're looking for a PS4, an Xbox One X, X1, whatever the heck they're called now.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah, totally doable.
Okay, and yeah, so when we get to 3,200 sub, we're going to randomly pick from one of our subscribers that also comments. So make sure to comment and subscribe on this video to be in that running.
Yes, and don't forget, we're also down to like 18 or 17 videos for the special boxing. You know, we just basically go get a bunch of cool stuff from different videos we've made, throw it in a box with a bunch of free t-shirts and other goodies, and we send it to you. So you want to get on that as well. Yep.
Now, let's talk about some Infinity War. Shane, give us the synopsis, bro, because your head is clear and I'm all swimming over here in NyQuil.
The synopsis. Wow, this is the 19th movie in the MCU franchise.
Wow, 19?
Yeah, 19 movies. And, you know, it's amazing because of all 19 movies, this one is now my favorite. So
I'm on that same boat, man. This movie blew my mind. I mean, obviously there's we're going to talk about all the people that like didn't make it through and all that. I mean, that's all, you know, that's all rough too. But for the first time since Loki, because Loki had these layers too, but like I didn't like him as much. Thanos is such a likable. He's such a good villain. You like him. You understand his motivations. You hate him sometimes, but the whole time you understand him. He's a deeply layered character.
Yeah, you can kind of see his motivation, and you can see how he believes that what he's doing is right, even though it's totally wrong and misguided and evil. You can tell that, you know, there's different layers to him, and we didn't know this going into it.
No.
But basically all the Avengers, everybody's story that we've seen up to this point somehow has to band together and basically find a way to stop Thanos, who, now that he got his hands on one stone, just decided he was going to make a run for all of them, and he got them pretty darn quick in this movie. So he wants to put an end to half of the universe, and of course the Avengers are trying to stop him.
Yeah, and his motivations to him, they're noble because of what happened to his planet, Titan. He wants to make the rest of the universe a paradise, and he feels like the only way to save the universe is to kill half the people in the universe.
Right. Yeah, he's motivated by what happened. He basically predicted that this was going to happen on his planet. It came to pass. The planet was basically destroyed. Well, not destroyed, but 8 degrees off on its axis. That's pretty bad considering gravity's not working properly on Titan. So, he was motivated by saying, well, I'm not going to let this happen to the rest of the universe. What I said was right. I proved I was right. And unfortunately, a lot of people are going to have to die for it to happen. So he was actually, before this movie, he was traveling from planet to planet, eradicating half of the population of each planet.
Yeah, doing it the old-fashioned way.
Right. Yeah. And he knew if he got the gauntlet, he could simply snap his finger and make it happen all at one time.
Right. And he honestly believes that his cause, his mission, is a noble mission. So he thinks he's the good guy.
Yes.
That's just crazy. Yeah. Okay, so that's basically where they're at. The Avengers, all the characters we've ever seen have to stop this guy because this is that important. And they don't stop him. So
yeah, if you've seen the movie, you know that obviously, And can we just talk about, if we're going to talk about out of order, then let's talk about this really quick. In no time have I felt such loss and a little bit of despair and an ending on such a horrible note. Even in Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, which this movie is being kind of compared to, and I would argue that this is probably a better movie. I would say that ending in such a downturn, I don't think there's a movie this big that's ever ended so down, and at such a loss.
Yeah, massive $600 million opening week blockbuster, and it ended on it was bleak. It was not a happy ending.
Yeah, it was not a happy ending, and it was bleak. I mean, you just basically at the last second of the movie, you see half of all the characters that you love die. I mean, Spider-Man goes down in such a believable death scene. Sadly, I mean, it was heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking. Well, let's talk about this scene real quick. When they're on Titan, this is actually a shot of him holding the dying Peter Parker. But Doctor Strange, Peter Parker, Tony Stark, Iron Man, and the Guardians are on Titan, and they're trying to stop. They're trying to get the gauntlet away from Thanos before he can even use it. And they have a good plan, and the plan actually sort of works until Peter Quill messes it up. But Doctor Strange, before Thanos gets there, he does this thing where he uses the time stone to look at every possibility, all 14 million or whatever it was possibilities. And when Tony Stark's, do we win in any of them? He says, yeah, just one. That's really important because a few minutes later, when Thanos is about to kill Tony Stark, after Tony, honestly, this regular human being with cool armor, puts up a hell of a fight against basically a god, right?
Right.
He's losing. He obviously is going to lose. He's losing. He's about to be murdered by Thanos. Thanos has this great line where he's like, "Look, I'm going to accomplish my mission, but I hope the half that's left remembers who you are," because he respects Tony. And right. Strange says,
he fought well.
What?
He fought really well. I mean, he took a moon.
He took a moon. He took a moon to the face, man. Yeah. No, but then Doctor Strange says, wait, spare his life and I'll give you the time gem. This is really important. This is like the most important part of the film was right here. And it was sort of subtle.
Yeah.
Strange said he would protect the time stone at any cost, even if it meant that Tony or Peter would have to die. But then after he looked at all the possibilities, he realizes that out of all those people, the indiscriminate half of people left, Tony will be the only one on that planet that lives. And Tony is the only person that needs to live. So he needs to give the time stone away so that Tony can live and eventually reverse the problem or beat Thanos in some way, right?
Well, yeah, obviously Tony's a key part to it. And maybe if he kills Tony, he's going to get the time stone from Doctor Strange at some point anyways.
He's going to get it anyways, but Doctor Strange sees that Tony is not one of those people that go off into a smoke tendrils, right? Like he doesn't just disappear.
So he had to be the one. And then you get that payoff. He tells him just before Doctor Strange goes off into smoke tendrils, he basically says it had to be this way. This is the way it had to happen.
Right. So he gives the time stone. Thanos, and this is really important too, Thanos honors that agreement. And he doesn't murder Tony. Like, remember,
Thanos has a lot of honor. You could, even as a bad guy, you can kind of respect that he plays by the rules, even though he's creating most of them.
Right, yeah, but he honors that agreement, which is that's the first sign to me that he thinks he's the hero. He thinks he's the good guy. Mm-hmm. Takes the time stone, obviously, and then accomplishes his mission, really, because when he gets to this planet, when he gets back to our planet Earth, he fights with our Avengers. If you notice, by the way, this is the shot from the trailer. It doesn't show all the stones, just shows 2. But at this point, he has all the stones except for the Mind Stone.
Right, and so they must have, when they were cutting the trailer together, still before they were finished in post editing. So
or they purposely did that to mislead us.
Maybe, yeah.
Because they did that with Thor Ragnarok too. They showed him with 2 highs, and then in the actual movie, he only had 1.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, there's a lot of misdirecting in this movie. They also showed Hulk in the previews,
right?
And
they
he
did.
was not there.
Yeah. He Hulk would not come out of Banner, which we're going to talk about. Okay, let's talk about this. These are the 4 people that definitely bit the dust this movie.
Yes, 100%.
Vision, Loki, Hermione. I don't know what his actual name is. It's not Hermione. That was from Harry Potter. Hermidol, Hermaraski.
You're killing me.
I always forget this guy's name, man. Hermdai.
I want to see you keep going till you get it.
Can you just give me the name?
It would be great if you just kind of just kept going.
Anyways,
it's Hemdall.
He has a really cool scene where when the Hulk gets his butt handed to him by Thanos, he goes, all fathers, let me summon the dark magic, and he uses the Bifrost one last time to send the Hulk to Earth. It was so good, man.
That was very cool.
The opening of this movie, it set the tone, dude.
I totally. They had to show you that Thanos is a major bad guy. They had to show what his ability was, so that you feared, the outcome that he could actually face off against so many Avengers. And when he threw around Hulk like he was a rag doll, that set the tone.
Yeah. And then last but certainly not least, Gamora in the most heartbreaking way to go.
Oh yeah, that scene was amazing. Man. She thinks she's best him. Red Skull is basically there. He's about to get the Soul Stone, but he says you have to give up the one thing that you love. And so she starts laughing and kind of goes into her diatribe about how she's been waiting for this day and can't wait because you don't love anything. And then Thanos turns around and the camera tilts up at him and he's got tears in his eyes. And she's kind of laughing because apparently he's crying for himself, she thinks. And then Red Skull says, he's not crying for himself, he's crying for you. And you're like, whoa, that was just a huge moment. One, that Thanos actually loves something, and it was Gamora. And 2, he's about to kill her. And
and the way he slowly drags her to the edge. Oh my God.
Yeah, I think he says, "Come on, little one," as he's pulling her. Oh, it's crazy.
Dude,
Great moment.
That was a hard scene. And then she dies. I mean, she falls to her death. Now, do any of these characters come back? We don't know.
Well, I felt strongly that Vision was going to be dead 100% when this movie came in. And I actually kind of felt that Loki was going to be gone as well. The Gamora thing caught me off guard, and I didn't really necessarily care a lot about Heimdall's character because he really doesn't even play that huge of a character in the normal Thor movies. So Loki was, I think, the big loss, but I think Gamora was probably the biggest loss.
Well, let's talk about this real quick because Vision, remember Shuri, Black Panther's sister, was working on Vision right before Thanos took him, or Thanos killed him, right?
Right.
And we don't know whether or not he can repair himself and live without the Mind Stone. We don't know how much work she accomplished, or maybe if because she's still alive, if she can take his body and complete the work she was doing and bring him back as maybe a less OP version of himself.
Well, I see probably the greatest possibility is that Vision comes back, basically in the machine again. So being maybe she downloaded a copy of him or something like that when she was doing the Mind Stone that we didn't get to see. And maybe he comes back in that form as a voice, like he did for Tony Stark originally.
Well, he did turn gray. Maybe he comes back as the gray version of Vision from the comics.
Or if he doesn't come back, I'm just okay with that.
Yeah,
I don't need him.
But I can see them bringing him back in some fashion for the fourth movie. Obviously underpowered.
I just don't need it. So if it doesn't happen, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I think Loki and Heimdall are just gone because they died so early in the movie that even if you use the time gem or the Eternals or whatever to go back, they would not go back far enough to save those two. But Gamora, I think that she will somehow be saved because she was sacrificed for the soul stone. And according to the comics, I know this is a pretty deep cut, but she still exists in some way in the soul stone. If you're sacrificed to the soul stone, then you live inside the soul stone.
I was going to say we don't know a lot about that world and how that works, so there is that possibility. Plus, I kind of would like to see a third Guardians movie, to be honest with you. So
I mean, that's nothing to it, guys. There is a third Guardians movie slated, and there is let's talk about these guys. There is a Black Panther movie slated and a Spider-Man movie slated.
So these are all the people who died, if you haven't figured it out.
Right, and a Doctor Strange movie slated. So let's talk about this real quick. Black Panther, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Scarlet Witch, White Wolf / Winter Soldier, Doctor Strange, that guy that flies around, Falcon dude, whatever his name is. Yeah, Star-Lord, Drax, Groot, Mantis, Sam Jackson, Nick Fury, and Colby Smulders. These are all confirmed to be taken by the Gauntlet, as in like they turned into smoke and they disappeared, right?
Right.
Okay. So, Black Panther, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, right off the bat, those three have movies scheduled on the slate.
And the Guardians,
And the Guardians.
Peter and... yeah, all those guys, Groot.
Right. So the only two people that don't have like movies, or three, that don't have movies slated per se, would be Scarlet Witch, Winter Soldier, and Falcon, and I guess Sam Jackson and Maria Hill. Unless
the S.H.I.E.L.D. TV series is canon.
Well, it's not.
Okay, well there you go.
I mean it is, but they purposely never made the TV series part of the movies.
No, Nick can't. I mean, yeah, he's there basically just.
Did you call him Nick Cannon?
I had to call him Nick Cannon. Nick Fury is basically there, to introduce Captain Marvel. That was it.
Right.
And you got a freebie by him having his sidekick with him.
So these people, you know, a lot of these people are slated for the next phase of Marvel for movies, and they made a lot of money, so they're definitely going to get them. So I do feel like, I feel torn. I feel like they should have taken, as for the story, they should have taken the original Avengers because they don't have movies scheduled, and it would have had more weight to us if these were the people that had to like save the day. But I also understand that I would personally rather see the original Avengers save the day and not like, I'm not saying B team, but like the extended Avengers, right?
No, you're 100% right. And you had to have Tony and Captain America going into that fourth movie. I don't know how else they could have done it. This is one of those catch-22 things. They want to keep making movies, but in order to tell the story properly, these people really needed to go. You couldn't keep the whole ensemble. So I'm willing to accept it. I'm not going to hit him for it.
Well, here are your surviving members. Iron Man, Tony Stark, Captain America / Nomad, Thor, Bruce Banner / the Hulk, Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow, War Machine.
I didn't really need War Machine. They could have traded him out. I like Don Cheadle a whole lot, but he's just a poor man's Iron Man. So,
man, they kept like when Thanos was stepping on him, I was like, "Can you guys please stop beating the crap out of Don Cheadle?"
Yeah. I don't like seeing Don Cheadle get taken down like that.
He's
please.
constantly just like keep beating him up. He's stepping on him. He's paralyzed. Gamora's sister is
torture her.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, she's still around, so she'll probably help out. Rocket Raccoon. Okay, so we didn't see Shuri, Black Panther's sister, not disappear, which makes me think that she's there still.
Okay.
And we didn't see the guy at the end, Wong, disappear, which makes me think that he's still there. Which will make sense, because we're going to need someone that knows how to use dark arts, because Doctor Strange is out. Well,
and but I just can't believe you're going to see a whole lot of that character. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. I'm excited to see what happens between Captain America and Iron Man. I think, and I've heard this a lot, that the use of the Soul Stone requires a sacrifice. And so, I'm hearing a lot that, Iron Man is going to have to sacrifice Captain America, although I'm not sure that's who he loves the most. But, that's what I'm hearing. And that's one of the theories that's running around out there. And that would make for a very interesting storyline.
Maybe he has to sacrifice Pepper Potts. Hey, kill two birds with one stone. I don't like that character anyways. Let's just get rid of her. Okay.
Well, but it's not consequential enough. It wouldn't move us enough.
Yeah.
We don't care.
No, he would. Yeah, if you got rid of Captain America, that would be rough.
That would be tough for him to have to sacrifice him, or even Captain America to have to sacrifice to agreeably go into that sacrifice.
Right.
Which I could see that happening.
Yeah. No,
He's dying to sacrifice himself in some way.
Yeah. Yeah, you could tell.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the people that weren't there. Hawkeye was not in the movie, and neither was AntMan or the Wasp. Okay. So the movie had like an explanation for this, right? They said that both these characters were on house arrest by the government because of their involvement in Civil War.
Okay. Fair enough answer. Well, the reality is that it was too hard to write Hawkeye in. What was the point? Extra character, does not further the storyline. And Ant-Man's got a movie coming out pretty soon, and you can save him you can actually save both characters for the fourth movie.
Yeah. We'll see Hawkeye in the fourth movie. They'll call in the B Squad because they need help.
Yeah.
And Ant-Man will be there. In fact, at the very end of this, we're going to explain why we think Ant-Man will be there, or why we know he'll be there. But also, you're right. Ant-Man does have that movie coming up. And that movie is actually it's set before the events of this movie, I think.
Okay.
Because it's so contained. It's an Ant-Man story. There's no one else involved.
Makes sense.
Well, speaking of the fourth movie, which we'll see Ant-Man and probably Hawkeye, we're also going to see Captain Marvel for sure, because that end credit scene with that 90s style looking space pager.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I feel about this. I mean, it's cool. It feels weird that they're going to be adding a new character so late in the game. But there is a standalone movie coming out, so I guess I get that. It would have been nice for it to be somebody we had seen. It would have been nice if the Captain Marvel standalone movie had been like last year. And that way you could have seen that and got a call out, not really see this thing coming. And then it would have been a nice surprise that everybody could have appreciated, not just the comic book fans.
Yeah, like seeing how powerful she is and then seeing this little Easter egg that you're like, oh! But then I feel like if you had shown that movie, then you'd be wondering where she was. Unless that movie ends in a way that goes, maybe it ends in a way where you can totally understand why she's not there. Maybe she goes into cryostasis or she gets taken far away and whatever,
Or she ends up on another planet or something, or for whatever reason, taken out of the picture completely. But, Nick Fury is able to get to her via his pager. So,
well, I had this theory going in that maybe it was going to go really poorly, and then our heroes were going to find this 90s superhero frozen in cryosleep somewhere and revive her to have him help or something.
That might be cool.
Yeah, so I guess it's possible. We're gonna see a Captain Marvel movie in March of next year, and it's set in the 90s, so way before the events of this movie. And we're gonna see Sam Jackson with 2 eyes. That's cool.
That's cool.
And we're gonna find out what happens to this character and what the deal is. The Captain America character originally is a human Kree hybrid, where the Kree's DNA gets infused with the humans, and she becomes really powerful, and she goes to fight in the Kree War.
So Captain Marvel, we're going to need to see a little bit of backstory on the Kree when that movie hits.
Right. Okay. Let's talk about some popular theories on how Avengers 4 is going to go down. How are they going to save the day? How are they going to bring back the characters we love? How are they going to fix the universe? Well, I think it's this thing here.
That's the only way, really.
Yeah.
It's got to be. I think I love your theory. I don't want to talk about it. So if you're going to talk about how 4 is going to go down, then likely it would be Thanos using the gauntlet to bring time back.
Or someone else using it.
Right. But based on what we think it might be Thanos.
So in the comics, Adam Warlock gets the gauntlet, defeats Thanos, and reverses everything they did. Adam Warlock, though, in the movies, was basically only at this point an Easter egg. Where in Guardians 2, we saw this pod where they're making Adam Warlock, and that's it.
Yeah.
So
I think Thanos is. They're done fighting Thanos. I mean, they sent. I almost think his character. I know it's one of the theories, but I almost think his character might be done. The way they sent him off.
Yeah. Almost
he's
like
in retirement.
Yeah, like a retired milk cow to pasture.
Don't really care how things go down now, So I would be surprised. It felt to me like the reason why they renamed the 4th movie, or that it's in, it's not going to be Infinity Wars 2, is because I think that this was Thanos' standalone movie, and now we're going to get something else. Yeah.
So no go on Adam Warlock more than likely, because we've gotten nothing but an Easter egg. There's no Adam Warlock movie, but there is a Captain Marvel movie. And Captain Marvel is also one of the players in the comic books that has a hand in fixing the Infinity Gauntlet series. So
Okay.
Also, let's talk about the Eternals. We were briefly touched on when we got introduced to Ego, the Living Planet. He was an Eternal. They did some back history stuff when they talked about the gems and in the Guardians movies about the Eternals and Celestials. But these guys are even more bad, even more gnarly than Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet.
Right.
So they can use the Eternals to go back in time. They can use the Time Stone to go back in time. And there's also characters like this, like Dormammu, where they actually introduced us to this character that wants to destroy the universe. Clearly much worse than Thanos, who's just trying to set balance, right?
Right.
So,
although it's weird to see this character without Doctor Strange.
Well, without Doctor Strange, like they would definitely require. Yeah. So that's here's the theory I want to get into real quick. What if there's a worst thing out there? What if Dormammu or one of the Celestials, one of the Eternals, or Galactus, even though we haven't introduced him yet? What if one of those people, one of those entities or beings, seeing the void in the universe, awakened by the fact that half the people were snuffed out, see their opportunity to finish their mission and destroy everything or change everything to their liking or whatever it is. Or maybe it frees Dormammu from his cage, considering, people that were being that were there to keep him in his cage are no longer there.
Well, that would be good. That would be a good storyline right there.
Right? And now Thanos, seeing that in his quest to make the universe better, he essentially just gave it a death sentence. And now Tony Stark has to reason with Thanos, and Thanos starts his redemption arc, and they have to work together to save the overall universe and reverse what Thanos had originally did.
Yeah, or he gives the gauntlet to Tony to go and carry on.
Yeah, the gauntlet at the very end of the movie looked like it was pretty messed up, though, right?
It did, yeah. So I can't imagine. I know the gauntlet is messed up, but I can't imagine that the stones are. Although I was surprised how easily they were able to destroy the Mind Stone
with Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, I didn't think these stones could be destroyed so easily.
I don't think they can be.
Yeah, that was a little bit. I didn't agree with that.
I don't think they can be destroyed. I think that was. I think even if she destroyed it, it would be a temporary thing. It would eventually come back together.
Yeah, and then though they wanted to give us that twist where they think, okay, they beat him. Oh yeah, no, he just turns time back. So.
Well, poor Scarlet Witch had to literally watch her soul partner, her lover die twice.
Yeah, that was pretty terrible.
So she had to do it, and then she watched Thanos do it. That's rough. Yeah, and the way Thanos just ripped that thing out of his forehead, man, that was brutal, dude.
That was seriously brutal.
So yeah, we don't know if the gems are still on the glove. We don't know if the glove is still operational. Remember the glove, the Infinity glove, whatever, the gauntlet, was made by this guy, by Peter Dinklage's character. It's not an Infinity. It's not specifically an Infinity Gauntlet, right? It's called the Infinity Gauntlet, but it was still forged by the dwarves, So it's not some crazy Infinity thing. It's a forged holder of the Infinity Gems, so it can be destroyed. Well, the gems probably can't be.
That's a good point. So there's a good chance that we're going to see Peter Dinklage's character again in the fourth installment, because they're going to have to find a way to control the stones again.
Right. And that's if all the stones are still around, if they didn't go flying off into space somewhere.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So what do you think about Peter Dinklage's character, man?
I love seeing Peter Dinklage. Anything he does.
Anything, yeah.
I love him as an actor. I thought it was totally appropriate that he played one of the dwarves that basically created Thor's hammer from the heart of a star, and I love that we got to see that how that happens. I do think that Peter's character was a little bit. I guess there wasn't a lot of time to go back into it and sort of figure it out. So there was a little bit lacking, I think, in the development of that character specifically. But it was a nice snapshot, and it was cool to get a guy that's so well known that, plays a great dwarf. It was so. I think it was appropriate and overall enjoyable. They could have had more to the character, but that's okay.
Yeah, and seeing him play a gigantic dwarf was hilarious. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. His hands were taken from him, basically, but he had the knowledge to be able to do the work. So, how about Thor taking a star to the chest?
Yeah, taking a star to the chest like a boss.
Wow.
Why did that hammer? Why did that allow him to get his powers back, or did he already have his powers but he needed a way to focus them? Was that the deal?
Well, they went into that a little bit in the last movie. Remember how he didn't have his hammer, and they kept telling him he didn't need Thor's last standalone movie.
Right, that Ragnarok.
He didn't really need his hammer, so he ended up actually having his power. Anyways, why that wasn't showcased in front of Thanos, I'm not exactly sure.
Well, but they purposely trapped him and wouldn't allow him to really fight in that scene. I sort of like that.
True. That's true. But once he had, I think it does a lot for his confidence. Once he has a weapon forged by a star, by a giant dwarf, I think, he's able to utilize that, focus his energy and his power. And I don't know, from a thematic, from a cinematic point of view, I think it was just cool to see him coming down to Wakanda, basically with a giant weapon. And
oh, man. My theater erupted in applause.
Yeah.
When he came out of the Bifrost and that hammer comes out of the Bifrost before him and starts, whew. That was sick. Thor cool. Has arrived. I don't know how, but Thor is becoming my favorite character in the series, Well,
Thor has always been a god, and so, you kind of look, I think people forget kind of how awesome he is in compared to others. And I think for a lot of movies, you lost that. I think you lost the comparison of how really, badical that Thor is, right?
Right.
And then when you bring him into that scene and you put him basically amongst a bunch of, humans, and he just starts wiping out large swaths, that shows his godlike status. I mean, it's a reminder, and you're you just want to cheer for it.
Right. Oh, when he comes down on Thor at the very end. Woo! I mean, no, I'm not Thor, but Thanos.
On Thanos, yeah.
When Thor comes out of the sky from that battle, and he just as Thanos is killed Vision, and he comes down, and that thing goes to his chest, and he's, oh man, was that so awesome? It was awesome.
You should have aimed for the head.
Yeah. Then Thanos goes, you should have aimed for the head. And then snaps his fingers.
Man, can we talk a little bit about Thanos and talk about how really awesome his main because that was obviously CGI. What do they call it? They call it what do they call that? Motion capture.
Motion capture.
Yeah. But. Talk a little bit about the actor who played him and why that's such a great role.
Yeah, Brolin plays Thanos, and man, I've always had respect for Josh Brolin, but I have more respect for him now that he was able to play this. It's hard to play a character in a mocap. That's right. The reason why. I forgot his name for some reason. The guy from Black Panther, and he played Golem. Andy Serkis. Andy, whatever. The reason why Andy gets so much love in the mocap player things he does, he was in Planet of the Apes. He played Golem, and he's been in the movie as a regular non-mocap actor in Black Panther. And in Avengers: Age of Ultron. But the reason he gets a lot of love, Andy Serkis, because he is a very good actor, and it takes a lot of effort to play and to emote through that mocap and to create those characters. The reason why we know it takes a lot of skill is because other characters have tried to do it, and it doesn't ever work out.
Well, it's in this movie even. There's
Right.
a couple of mocap characters who weren't, great actors, but not necessarily great in the mocap.
Right, but Josh Brolin is able to pull it off. Not only is his voice acting good, obviously, but his mocap and his expressions and everything are excellent. And Thanos as a whole, I thought he was going to be like more ridiculous looking, but no, he looked like a very reasonable character, you know?
Yeah, although the Grimace joke was, I think, my favorite joke of the whole thing.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
When Star-Lord says, hey, Grimace, or whatever, I lost it. It was so funny.
Yeah, that was funny. He called him Nutsack Chin, too.
There were so many really, the Guardians always bring the funniest parts to it. You get some funny stuff with Thor, too, but...
Oh, speaking of the Guardians, when they get Thor, and Thor's like, and I guess Rocket Raccoon calls them morons, he goes, okay, morons, good luck on your journey.
So sincere with that, right?
Yeah. It's great, man. It's great. No, that whole thing was great. This movie as a whole. What's that?
Wait, real quick, I just got to talk about this one scene. What about the scene where basically Peter and Gamora are making out? They had their little fight, right? They're making out, right? And all of a sudden you see, that he's standing over there in the corner, right? Yeah, Drax. And he's like, how long you been there? He's like, an hour.
An hour.
And, oh my gosh, it was so funny. I love watching those guys. That's my favorite part.
The Guardians are hilarious, dude. Really, really funny. Drax is one of the funniest characters ever.
He is. There's a little bit of criticism that he started out as a naive in the first Guardians movie, as a naive character, then it was funny. But now they're saying that a lot of other critics are saying that they've kind of made him a dumb character and that he's more stupid. And that you've lost that naivety. And I could see that a little bit, but I got to tell you, the jokes hit and they're hilarious. So
they're hilarious.
It's hilarious.
And his relationship with Mantis is fantastic because they're both like sort of naive and...
Yeah, they're naive kind of dummies, know, and okay, not everybody can be the smartest person there.
Yeah, man, come on.
I mean, Scarlet Witch doesn't have an accent anymore, so, you can make changes and it's okay.
Yeah, Scarlet Witch lost her accent, which I'm okay with because I hated that Russian accent, that Ukrainian accent. Let's talk about Avengers 4, the untitled movie, the one that's going to wrap up this whole 20 years. It's going to wrap up the whole thing.
Okay.
Let's talk about this. Because
who is in this picture?
There is some set photos from Avengers 4 filming. Now let's talk about this real quick because we have Tony Stark on the far left rocking a SHIELD jacket. Remember, SHIELD was dismantled, right?
Right.
You have Captain America in the original costume, Captain America costume with, if you look real close, the SHIELD and what appears to be a watch, a fancy-looking watch out on the outside of his left gauntlet.
Okay.
Don't know what that watch is, but in other set photos, you see Tony Stark is also wearing that watch, and so is AntMan, who's pictured to the far right.
Gotcha.
AntMan is wearing his newest AntMan costume, while Tony is wearing an old SHIELD jacket. Captain America is wearing an old version of Captain America's outfit. He doesn't have the beard. That's the old version of Captain America, right? But they're all wearing this fancy watch. Where did this watch come from? What's the watch? Is it a chrono watch? Some kind of time watch? What is it? And if you look really close, the guy Captain America's talking to, that is a mocap guy. That is somebody in mocap gear. That stick on his back that's pointing up, there's a reference at the top of that pole, which it's not pictured here, but that's where basically the guy, where his eyes would be.
Right. So we know it's got to be one of a couple characters most likely.
Right. Okay, so who are the couple characters, Shane?
Well, it's either going to be Hulk or Thanos.
Right? I mean, what
More
other
like-
characters are that large?
I mean, none in our universe. I mean, could it be somebody new? I guess technically possible, but I like the idea of going with one of those two options.
Yeah, I think it's either Hulk or Thanos. We did not see Hulk in Infinity War because he had gotten beat so badly that he didn't want to come out for some reason.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with, because we want to see the Hulk get his groove back in the next movie and go like full Hulk world breaker. We want to see, with the same thing we saw with Thor going full Thor, we want to see the Hulk go full Hulk.
Yes, we want to have his moment where, I mean, I love in the beginning of the movie when Loki says, "We have a Hulk." You know, that is such a great feeling. I mean, it immediately got ripped from us when Thanos kicked the crap out of him. But, you know, I love when Hulk comes in and saves the day. I mean, it's just one of the great moments in superhero comic stuff.
And it's a good callback, too, because, you know, originally in Avengers 1, Loki was bragging or whatever, and Tony Stark said, well, and he goes, "We have an army," and Tony Stark said, "We have a Hulk." And that's when Hulk grabs him and smashes him, right?
Which was hilarious in that movie as well.
And and it showed a fantastic turnaround too. The character Loki was on the receiving end of that, and now he's the one delivering that line, right? Like, that just showed that. Also, when he had the chance to join Thanos, he tried to kill him instead.
Right. No, Loki is completely redeemed before his death.
Right.
Complete full circle.
Which also was heartbreaking to watch, because like when you saw him doing the typical Loki thing where it's like, "I can join you. You can use a guide on your mission," and then you saw on his hand in the back sort of like manifest that knife. You're like, "Oh no."
Yeah,
Loki's gonna try to go out like a hero, but he's gonna get murdered right here. I knew it right then.
I agree.
So yeah, that's it. There's a bunch of leaked set photos. This is the one I feel like is the most telling. They're all wearing the motion capture dots. So there's stuff going on there. There's some kind of effects. Like if you look, there's some kind of effects or something going on their suits that need to be that those dots represent for motion capture. So it could be effects. Right. It could be armor pierces. It could be whatever. We don't really know. But they are definitely in older costumes, except for Scott Lang. And they're talking to what appears to be a large mocap character.
Well, I wonder if you're looking at, instead of a shield jacket, I wonder if basically they're going to, recreate the Iron Man suit around Tony Stark there.
Well, I'm sure they can, but if you look on his left, his right arm, that's the Shield logo.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it could be a Shield jacket, and maybe they create the armor around the jacket somehow. Maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe those dots are on. So they're wearing physical costumes, right?
Right.
Like AntMan and Captain America are both wearing. Maybe those dots are representing like effects, like time effects and stuff like that. Like
that makes sense.
Who knows? I don't really know. I don't know. It could be particle effects, like showing that they're in a different part of the world. I don't really know.
When we see the movie, if we get this scene, we'll have to go back and take a look and match up this picture with what's happening to their outfits.
Yeah, I would love to.
That'd be cool.
Well, and that's it for us, guys. That's our spoiler review-ish / theories and stuff. I don't really know what to call it. Conversation.
It's just such an amazing movie. I mean, I sat there watching the movie, and the whole time I'm sitting there watching the movie, I'm saying, "This is great. This is great." I mean, I'm so swept up in the moment. There was a moment where I was even thinking, maybe this is even the best movie ever. I was at that moment. I mean, I was at that moment. I mean, after reflecting on it, I don't think it's the best movie ever. But does it rank right up there with some of the great movies made? I absolutely think so. You know, if this doesn't end up in my top 20 movies of all time, I can't see how that's not the case. It was just so well done.
It's so much better than Age of Ultron was. And I liked Age of Ultron a lot, too. But, you know, there was some noticeable problems with Age of Ultron. So then when this movie comes out, it's like, wow, what leaps and bounds. You know, and what they accomplished here with all these characters and this sort of wrap-up, it's just so special. This is a special, special movie.
Yeah, and they had a lot of courage. I mean, it takes a lot of courage to end a movie like this in this way, on a down note. And I think you got to give a lot of credit. It's nice to feel that way a little bit when you leave a movie. I mean, all movies we leave on this up. So it was nice to leave on this like, whoa. You know, but you didn't leave necessarily boo. You left on a, oh, tell me how I'm supposed to feel right now.
Right.
You know, and that's what makes the movie so great. And the fact that it was like there was a bunch of mini movies inside of one big movie, which I thought was great. And every character managed to get their 15 minutes of fame. How do you get all these Avengers into one movie and make it feel like everybody got their due? And they did it. It was long, didn't feel long. Right for you, did it feel long?
No.
When it was over, I can't believe what the time is.
Yeah. I was bummed out when it was over. I was like, oh, it's over.
Yeah, so you know that's
good.
the mark of a great movie.
It was that Netflix moment where you're like, you really wish there was another episode left.
Okay. And you're not going to get that episode for a little
year.
over a year.
It's a year. A little over a year, yeah. All right, so yeah, we're going to see, this is the schedule for them. We're going to see Ant-Man and the Wasp come out in about a month and a half. The next March of 2019, we're going to see Captain Marvel, and that's going to be her debut, and that movie is set in the 90s. And then we're going to see, about a month later, literally, like they're not giving it much time to breathe, we're going to see Avengers 4, the untitled conclusion to not just this movie, but this overall phase for Marvel.
I really hope that they move that movie a little bit. I don't want it to be so close to the Captain Marvel movie. I really feel like movies like this need a little bit of time to breathe. I think back to Matrix 2, Matrix 3 being kind of right on top of each other, and that really kind of messed up that trilogy a little bit. So I really hope they actually move the fourth Avengers movie a little bit further. Give it some time to breathe. Give us some time to really recollect and see how Captain Marvel is going to really fit into the fourth movie.
Well, I'm glad that there's a Captain Marvel movie before that movie. That's nice.
Yeah, well, you got to have... I mean, I almost think you have to have that. It would be weird to have this person show up and not really understand or know what they, you know... have.
Right.
You got to have a backstory. I mean, and there's not going to be time for a backstory and incorporating it into the fourth Avengers movie.
Which is why I'm pretty sure we're not going to see Adam Warlock, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But I do know that they basically shot these movies back to back, the same way The Matrix was shot. Like they shot them around the same time, at the same time.
And I always thought it wasn't a problem that they shot them together. I always thought the problem was they released them too quickly.
Gotcha.
And I don't know why they released those movies quickly, and I'm not sure why they feel like they need to release these movies so quickly, one on top of the other. I think people need time to reflect before getting another installment. But
yeah. Okay, I agree with you, Shane. That was it. Movie's fantastic. If you somehow watch this entire episode and have not seen the movie, go watch it.
You're probably really confused. And you're like, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And if you agree with us, please let us know below. If you disagree, please let us know below. If you have any questions, you want to have a conversation, let us know in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Hit that bell button for notifications. And we'll see you tomorrow for our American Idol recap. And Shane, you got anything else, bro?
Yeah, just for the American Idol recap, they're going down to 7, from 10 to 7, so it's going to be savage.
Savage. Savage. Okay, that's it. Have a great day. We hope that you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.